Hi everyone, this is Whitehawk and welcome back to Doli, Incapax, and me, myself, and Turnabout. This is the first trial of that case, and it's in two parts. There's going to be another one that's also going to be two parts, but the investigations, they're all one part. First day and second day, so this is actually shorter than the blinded Turnabout. Anyway, so after a little panic attack yesterday, I got some more information about Bits. Specifically, I've learned a bit more about his two other personalities. It turns out that when he was younger, he went through a rather tragic house fire. He says you remember having nowhere to run and hearing screaming all around him. And he freezes up whenever he talks about it, or goes through any trauma. I guess that's why he isn't talking right now, man. As years went on, he formed his personalities to escape from emotional trauma. One of his personalities is a stallion named Victorian Prose, who's evidently rather snobby. There's also a mare, oddly enough, an opera singer named Perfect Pitch. I haven't met them yet, but I will finally get a chance to talk to my client himself. Right here. Hello, Bits. Are you ready for your trial today? Maybe. He's so soft-spoken. I can barely make out what he's saying. Come on, Bits, speak up. Things are gonna be fine. So, Bits, can I ask you something about the day of the murder? Sure. Could you tell us why you were knocked out at the crime scene? I can't. I don't know. Well, do you know anything about a reflex hammer at least? Their prints were found on it. Reflex hammer? I don't know. So basically, you have no idea if you or your personalities had something to do with this. Sorry. So sorry. Well, I guess given these circumstances, it's pretty much a given that one of them did it. We just have to try and prove that Bits wasn't the personality who did this. Miss Incapax, the trial is about to begin. Alright, I'm defending someone of a crime with no clue about what happened or what will happen. Nowhere to go but forward, I guess. Probably gonna have to accuse Nurse Redheart, actually. That's what I'm betting on. Court is now in session for the trial of Bits and Pieces. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Corpus, are you ready for trial? Not exactly, Your Honor, but we need to start anyway. Not prepared? What do you mean? I'm just not certain what to make of the defendant's condition, but I suppose I'm ready. The multiple personalities? Yes, such a tragedy. If you don't mind me saying so, you're taking this unrealistically well. I've accepted weirder things in this court. Spirit channeling, robot witnesses. What kind of trials are you doing here? So if I understand correctly, we're only trying the personality of Bits for this, correct? Correct, Your Honor. The prosecution is certain of his guilt. But even that's not that big of an issue. MPD is a bit of a controversial disorder. Many doctors doubt that it even exists. So the local government has come to a strange agreement. Bits' personalities won't be tried as separate ponies, but instead, all as one pony. That is not fair. But it doesn't matter. There is decisive evidence that proves the guilt of Bits specifically. Decisive evidence for a personality's guilt? I don't know how that could exist. We'll explain immediately. The prosecution calls modus operandi to the stand. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Modus operandi, I'm a Ponyville detective. Detective, how on earth is it possible to prove which personality was present at any given time? We know we have to tell the court eventually, but it would be better if we first told the court the basics. Alright, I suppose that's fair. Please continue, Detective. Of course, Counselor. Yesterday, the defendant tried to steal an artifact known as the Hemlock Queen's Emeralds. but the case was broken, which caused security gates to lock the rooms in the museum wing. Our victim, Belle Bald, went to the Emerald exhibit and unlocked the gate with her own key. That's supposed to be Belle Bond, so it's a typo with L and N. Fair enough. Frightened, the defendant strangled the victim with the necklace before passing out. It was then that our witnesses arrived at the crime scene. And that's pretty much what happened. And is that all that happened that day? That's what happened. Any questions? Well, you mentioned that the victim unlocked the gate to the Emerald exhibit with her own key. The victim was one of 2 people in the museum with a master key. But the other has an alibi. I see. The court accepts this key into evidence. This key added to court record. This throws a... What's her name? Lady Victorian as a one of the assaulters, doesn't it? One of the suspects. That's the word I was searching for. Even though she was technically there, I kind of want to bet on it that Mr. Victorian was partly responsible for this. Anyway, Miss Incapax, please proceed with your cross-examination. If this is the best I can come up with, this may be an easy trial after all. The question is, what does this mean? What does it mean? Anyway, time to press for info. Can you please inform the court as to the history of the necklace? The history is about a queen, but it's not relevant to the trial. A queen, you say? Is the story a fairy tale? I love fairy tales! Then think of our client as the Little Mermaid, trading his innocence for something frivolous, a necklace. But he fails to do what he should, and winds up in a horrible situation far too late. And our lawyer over there is our evil queen, trying to kill off a truth that's more beautiful than herself. That isn't how the Little Mermaid ends, or even a part of that story. Anyway, the defendant thought he would get away with the theft without any problem. How did the broken case set off the gates? There are sensors that detect how much pressure the glass part of the case is putting on the base. If they detect any significant changes, then the gates will go off. Naturally, since the case broke, the sensors were set off and, well, you know the rest. But if that's true, how did the victim get into the crime scene? Our victim, Belle Bond, went to the Emerald exhibit and unlocked the gate with her own key. Our victim had a key as well? All security guards have master keys. However, all the other guards at the museum have alibis. And you're saying that she unlocked the gate to the Emerald exhibit? Yeah, is that alright? Not really, but... Sure, please continue, detective. Hold it! Yeah, I probably should point out the hold it. Anyway, you know why my client passed out? See, Bits tries to give equal time for... Well, that was fast. He suffers from sleep deprivation. Is he exerts too much energy? He'll fall asleep on the spot. If he exerts too much energy. Sleep deprivation? So he wasn't knocked out just to sleep? Anyway, Bits was passed out and BB had just been murdered. I'm just gonna go back and check out that thing there that I missed. See, Bits tries to give equal time for all his personalities to stay awake. Okay, I don't know why it skips it like that. That's probably unintentional. Then that our witnesses arrived at the crime scene. After I went to call the police, did anyone go back into the crime scene? After Bits came to, your client and the other witnesses waited outside of the crime scene. According to them, no one entered or left the crime scene after that. Alright then, please continue. Do you really think that Heavius read over the evidence? There's no way this is what happened. Then what are you talking to me for? Rub that contradiction in his face. I don't even know what contradiction it is right now, so I'm just gonna do a bit of searching. Alright, so I'm guessing the glass case was not in fact broken, because I'm reading this description right now and it says that it was only disturbed. But I could be wrong. And I am. So basically you lose a bit of life when you get something wrong, but it's not much. It's like you got like 8 chances or something. Anyway, it was a long shot, but I had to try it. Wait a moment. Okay, I think I'm starting to get this now. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I think I have to show the security gate at this sentence here, because Lady Victorian had to unlock it for us. So, let's try it. Yep. So let me get this straight. Bibi went into the Emerald exhibit after the gates fell, and she needed to use this key to get inside. Yeah, that's right. Is something wrong with that? Well, when me and the other 3 went to check out the Emerald exhibit, the gate was still locked. If Bibi had entered the crime scene after they descended, shouldn't the gate have been unlocked? Well, does the prosecution have an explanation for this? I admit, I haven't considered this, but this changes nothing. The gates could have locked automatically when they hit the ground, or Bibi could have locked the gate. But there's nothing to prove either of these things are true. This is nothing but a bluff. And you wouldn't know absolutely nothing about bluffing, would you? So, can I talk now? I think you're all overthinking this. There's a simpler reason. A simpler reason? What's he talking about? Please, detective, testify about this simpler reason. Yep, that was that was kind of pointless, all of this, but I can see why that's happening anyway. Bibi saw a shifty-looking stallion messing with one of the cases and went to see what was going on. Frightened, he hit the case, breaking the glass and locking the 2 of them in. As for how we know it was Bits, we found his left hoof print on a hammer used to break the glass. And the only left-handed personality of his is Bits. Left-handed? Well, let's ignore the whole thing about hands, and I just want to know, how does this even work? So if Bibi was at the crime scene before the gates went down, this contradiction would disappear. Exactly, Doli. Are there any more problems you need to point out? Not yet, but something about this still sounds kind of fishy to me. Time to press all of these sentences yet again. You're saying that Bibi saw the defendant from another room entirely? Keep the layout of the museum in mind. There are many rooms that you could see the Emerald exhibit from. But neither I or any of the witnesses saw her in the other exhibits. Well, you probably just missed her. Maybe. Anyway, what do you think happened after that? Frightened, he hit... well, hold it. But if he didn't break the case to get the necklace out, how did he get it out? Easy, that is how he got it out. Oh, this is how he got it out, presenting the autopsy document thing. He only broke the case when she was in the room. The same room. That was the only time he had a chance to. And what exactly was it that make Bibi think he was up to something? I really don't like it when there's a spelling mistake like that, because it completely screws up me just trying to talk up. Really screws up me trying to speak the sentence. Anyway, I don't know. I just came up with this theory now. There's something you made up on the spot. It makes pretty good sense. You're talking about the reflex hammer you found, right? Yeah, we finally figured out that's what it was used for. And how do you propose he managed to get a reflex hammer? He lives in a mental health institution because of his disorder. There are many places he could have gotten a reflex hammer from. I see! Please add this to your testimony, detective. Alright, sure. He got it from the mental health institution he lives at. Besides, How else could it have been brought in? Well, I guess I have to present Nurse Redheart's profile here, but let's actually press. Do you honestly think a mental health institution would be so lax when it comes to supplies? There aren't exactly many other ways it could have gone there. Besides, it would be easy to hide. Not many other ways? Are you sure about that? Well, anyway, his left prints were found on the reflex hammer. And the only left-handed personality of his is Bits. Or could either of his other personalities use their left hoof to break the case? Sure, but why would they? Their right hooves would do the job just fine. I suppose so, but nothing. There's no reason for either personality to not to use their right hoof for that. Thus, the only pony who could have done this is Bits and Pieces. So the only one who could leave Bits' left hoof prints was Bits himself, huh? I don't doubt that there's anything wrong with that idea. So we somehow need to prove some other reason his prints might be on it to continue. I don't think we can prove that yet. We'll have to delve a little deeper into this testimony. I'm probably gonna have to present Nurse Redheart's profile right here. Yep! How else could the reflex hammer have been brought in? I could think of at least two ways. Those ways being through Nurse Redheart and Psyche. That's a good observation, but what does it mean? Obviously, that someone else could have brought in a reflex hammer. Could have? There's that phrase. Could have. But do you have any evidence that that's what's happened? Is there any evidence to indicate that Bits himself brought it in? Don't avoid the question. Do you have evidence, yes or no? The defense has evidence. Exactly. As for the prosecution's evidence, we have... Wait, what? Are you certain you want to bluff like this? Exie, shush. Just go with it. Yesterday, when we were talking to Nurse Redheart, she admitted to knowing about the hammer. As to what she knows, we'll just have to ask her ourselves. Doli, you're too naive. Nurse Redheart said that she knew about the hammer, sure. But all she admitted to us, that the reflex hammer was stolen. That's all. Then why would she have been so hesitant? And again, the only pony who could have feasibly taken the hammer would have been Bits. To break into the case and steal the necklace. No! My contradiction! Detective, I think that will be all. You may leave. From what I can see, there's little reason to doubt anything the prosecution has set up until now. I see no reason to further prolong this trial. Wait, no, it's too early! There must be something we can do! Come on, Mom, don't worry. We just need to bluff our way through this. Don't you get it? There's still one mystery we still haven't figured out yet. Let's think. Could this unsolved mystery be... Oh, I have to present something. I'm thinking it's the reflex hammer because it's got a piece of string attached to it. Oh, okay, I thought it was actually over, but no, it's the reflex hammer. That was kind of neat. Anyway. Your Honor, wait, please. We still haven't figured out what happened. I'm sorry, Miss Incapax, but I've made up my mind. As long as there are no more questions... But there is one, Your Honor, relating to the reflex hammer again. Can you explain to me why it was tied to a piece of string in the first place? Your Honor, the string has nothing to do with the case at hand. At hoof. How can you say that? Do you know why it was there? The prosecution doesn't have a theory on the matter. But the question is, so what? Does it really matter that there was a piece of string tied to it? Miss Incapax, your final mystery has ended up being barely worth mentioning. However, as long as even a small mystery remains unsolved, we cannot pass judgment. Woo! 1 point to ridiculous leaps of fate. But tell me, how do you expect to find out why this is? Simple. We need to hear from the one person who knows what happened at the scene. The defense calls bits and pieces to the stand. And... okay, I thought it was going to be part 2, but no, it's still part 1. Witness, your name and occupation? Bits and pieces. I'm the defendant, I guess? Perhaps this wasn't the best choice. Bits, would you mind if we spoke to one of your other personalities? Sure, which one? Let's talk to Victorian Prose, shall we? Why would we need to speak to any of his other personalities? Alright, just give me a minute. Well, what am I doing here? Let's try this again. Witness, your name and occupation. Oh, I'm a witness, is that it? Victorian Prose, harbinger of angelic literature. What does that even mean? I see that face. What does that even mean, you think to yourself? It means I am a poet extraordinaire, a true master of the pen. Does this have anything to do with what you saw? No, it doesn't. Witness, please talk about what you saw before you lost consciousness. Very well. I suppose my genius will have to wait. Inside the Emerald exhibit. I don't remember much about what happened that day. I'll see what I remember. Wasn't her name Bibby? Yes, it was. Bibby yelled at me, but I don't remember what she said. There was something else nearby. It might have been that hammer, but I don't know. That's where my memory stops. I may have passed out or changed to another personality. You don't remember what happened? Usually, I have a good memory. I don't know what happened there. Odd. Miss Incapax, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Doesn't remember, huh? It's gonna be hard to find problems with details this vague. That's true. There's basically no information here. Mr. Prose, we need to know exactly what you saw. Please, really try to remember. Give me a second. What do I remember what happened? Well, I don't remember much, but I remember a few other things. Very well, please add what you remember to your testimony. Well, I think there was something else nearby. No, wait, I remember. There was something sharp by my hooves. Yes, it had to be glass. How certain are you that there was glass by your hooves? Completely certain now. There was glass by my hooves. Is that alright? Sure, please continue with your testimony. How certain are you that it was Bibi that ran into the exhibit? I know it was her. She seemed really ticked off about something. That's what I saw. There's no question about it. What are you doing, Exy? How do you know the victim's name? I remember hearing someone say her name before this happened. Do you remember who it was? I don't. My memory's really fuzzy. Alright. What else do you remember about this crime scene? How do you know something was nearby? I remember feeling a piece of string. It must have been the reflex hammer. And do you have any idea why there might have been a string tied to it? No. I guess you can't be more direct than that. Did anything else happen? That's where my memory stops. I may have passed out or changed to another personality. How does changing personalities affect your memory? Different personalities carry only their own memories. We don't have universal memories. All I know is what I saw, and I don't remember that very well. Obviously. This testimony is very vague. We can't really learn anything new from it. You need to pull details out of him. He might know something vital. Well, anyway, whenever there's like a new dialogue, like here, That's usually where you're gonna have to press or present something. I think in the third Ace Attorney game, they started to like mix it up a bit, or rather the second one too, by putting multiple new dialogues, so you had to figure out which one was the one you had to present something at. Not to mention there were some cases where you had to choose what you wanted to know more about. Anyway, I'm not sure what to present here, but I'll try to figure it out. I think I have to present the glass case here. Yeah, I do. Objection? Hold it? What's with all this screaming? Mr. Prose, I hope you realize that there's a major problem with your testimony. There is? Because I looked at the glass case description and I don't think it actually contradicts, but it sort of leads to a contradiction. That's why I presented it. According to you, Bibi ran into the crime scene after the case was broken. Are you telling me that our victim ran through a solid metal gate? Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Our witness clearly doesn't remember what happened very well. We shouldn't think too much on it. We can't be so sure, Mr. Prose. Are you certain this is the order that the things happened in? When I got to the crime scene, the glass was already broken. I'm certain of that. Well then, Bibi must have opened the gate before she ran in. There aren't any problems here. But I don't remember that! Someone must have made a mistake. It sounds like we'll need more testimony to clear this up. Because someone's definitely mistaken, it just happens to be you. Fine, I'll talk. What do you need me to waste my precious time to talk about? Please, talk specifically about remembering the glass and Bibi, and don't leave anything out. Let me guess, he's gonna leave something out. There was broken glass by my hooves. I remember it clearly. I know Bibi came in after. I'm sure the gate wasn't down. I remember after that though, my crown flared up in great pain. And then I blacked out. I must have just been clobbered. I don't really know. You think you were hit over the head? Why were we told this sooner? I was told to testify about what I remember. And I don't remember that. We need to know everything that you know. Is that clear? Fine, whatever. Just stop wasting my time with this already. What, your freedom is a waste of time to you? There has to be something more to this. What happened in that room? Quite a bit, actually. Are you saying there's no chance it was something else by your hooves? Broken glass feels very distinctive. It doesn't take a genius to recognize it by touch. Not that it would have mattered either way. In that case, could another glass object have broken at the crime scene? A reconstruction of the pieces found that all of the pieces were originally from the case. And how would he remember things in an impossible order? You said your memory is fuzzy. Could this pony you saw have been another pony? The pony was bright pink with navy highlights. None of the other ponies could have logically have been her. So you admit that you didn't see the details of the pony. Someone else may have been there. Well, they weren't. The pony I saw was Bibi. I guess that you're certain. Please continue with your testimony. What can you tell us about this pain? It was on my crown, and there was a lot of it. Is that all? Nothing else? All I know is that it hurt! Well then, I guess that's that. Could you please tell the court what happened after that? And then I blacked out. I must have just been clobbered. I don't really know. Clobbered? What makes you think someone hit you? I've never had tremendous pains on my scalp that aren't caused by someone hurting me. Well, do you have any idea who might have hit you? If I did, we wouldn't be here right now. The main thing to remember is that he doesn't know what happened there beyond him feeling pain. This pain, like everything else he said, could just be the creation of his memory. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? I suppose you haven't found any problems with this testimony, Miss Incapax? No, Your Honor. The defense has no problems with this. Your Honor, we obviously can't take this testimony as face value. It makes no sense. We've yet to get any kind of explanation for how this could have played out. Look, prosecutor, I get what you want. I get you want to discredit someone smart to make yourself feel intelligent. But there's no way I'm mistaken. I clearly remember feeling glass when Bibi entered the crime scene. And the gate wasn't down yet. I'd remember that. I'm sorry, Habeas, but our witness seems certain of what he saw. Objection overruled. Well then, if you want to accept this, we're gonna need some explanation. So, Doli, what's your explanation for this? I'm sorry, you want an explanation? We can't blindly accept a testimony. We need it to fit into the frame of events. Well, come on, we need to think of something, Mom. Okay, think through this, Doli. If this testimony's right, something else has to be wrong. So what could it be? What's wrong with our line of thinking? We've got three choices here. We got when the gate fell, when Bibi entered, and when Prose was hit. I'm gonna guess something. Well, I'm not really guessing here. I kind of thought about this for quite a while. I want to say when the gate fell. I also thought when Prose was hit would sort of work as a long, like as a stretch, but when the gate fell seems like the most logical thing. The only thing that makes sense is if the gates didn't fall when we think they did. Specifically, if they didn't fall when the glass was shattered. The defense is completely insane. How is it that the only broken case wouldn't deploy the gates? This is it. This is the opening we needed. There's one way to break the case without setting off the alarms, and from that, we get a new suspect. If Bibi was guarding the necklace, that leaves only one suspect with the ability to disable the alarms. It's Lady Victorian. This all goes back to the master key that the victim had. If someone had used the key to unlock the case, then the alarm wouldn't have gone off. Miss Incapax, are you saying the victim was the thief? No, Your Honor. She was trying to guard the necklace. This means that another master key was used. And the only other pony with a master key was the curator, Lady Victorian. What? No, wait! Ah, yeah. Order, so Lady Victorian unlocked the case with the murder weapon inside? Exactly, Your Honor. She's the only one capable of having broken into the case. She had full reign of the museum. She could go anywhere without seeming suspicious. And there's only one reason she'd hide this fact from all of us. Because Lady Victorian used that necklace to strangle Bail Bond. But you've presented nothing substantial. This is all a bunch of conjecture. For conjecture, it makes a lot of sense. This would solve every problem we've been presented. So come on down from the gallery, Victorian. Fess up to your crimes. And part 2? I think so. It turns out suddenly accusing Victorian of the murder wasn't the best idea. Court had to stop for a 30-minute recess to get the gallery to calm down. And the whole time, I essentially stood there in disbelief over my ability to pull that off. But it was too soon to relax, as the battle was about to begin. That's what I was about to say. Part 2, I bet. No? Yeah, part 2. Okay, that's enough. Talking like this for such a long time, I have to take like breaks every now and then if you guys like notice some cuts during the video. And right now I feel like throwing up. I think it's because I brushed my teeth before doing this recording. I thought that would help because I was recommended that helps like when you're doing commenting, but it makes me feel like throwing up now. Jeez, wasn't a good idea, at least for me. But anyway, next time, part 2 of the first trial. Hope you've all enjoyed this video and hope you all have a very nice day. Bye-bye.